What we are talking about is that people of Okeogun, Ibarapa, and all those areas are victims of Fulani terrorists kidnapping them. And when the people cried to government, nobody responded. When they cried to the police, when they cried to the military, nobody responded. Now, people have now, they now cried to Sunday Igboho, who happened to be a son of the soil. Sunday Igboho is not, let me tell you something. Nigeria media is calling Sunday Igboho Yoruba activist. Don't let us mix this whole thing together, okay? Don't let us mix the whole thing together, okay? The people of Okeogun, when you hear Okeogun, and you hear, when you hear Ibarapa, they have about 3 local government areas making up that Ibarapa, that singular name, Ibarapa local government. 3 local government areas with God knows how many towns. Among those towns, among those local governments, they have Okeogun. They have Igboho. Igboho is from Okeogun area. Yeah. They have, they have Ayete, they have Igongon. All these areas are like small towns or towns that make up all the local government area. These are not just villages. And in their forest, there are Fulanis living in those forests. God knows who gave them the place, yeah? And the people have they have not had problem with them that they've never been able to resolve until now, until 5 years ago when APC became government, okay? But somehow, Ijoba Kosheleri, constituted authority, Ajimobi, was able to control them a lot for his own 8 years. All the crashes, all the wahala, he was able to tame them. Okay? So until 2019, that Seyi Makinde came in, that thing changed. And Seyi Makinde knew. And part of his own efforts to stop any kind of all these killings, attacks, kidnappings, and all of that was why he, as a PDP governor, went into a relationship with other Yoruba governors who are APC governors. Do you understand that now? So this is the genesis. Now, Seyi Makinde knew the problem. He could not do anything. He decided to join them to create Amotekun, and even decided to fund Amotekun so that they can be primarily and just for that job, go into the forest and protect those areas from those killers. Right? But he couldn't do it. People are still waiting. The first time that Amotekun, that they will officially move into Ibarapa area of Oyo State was on the 7th of January 2021. Meanwhile, Amotekun was launched January 2020, last year. That was when they started the law on Amotekun. But for a whole year, they were just going back and forth. Even to this day, apart from Ondo and Oyo, if you go to Ogun State, there's no Amotekun there. If you go to Osun State, there's no real Amotekun there. If you go to Lagos State, you can't even find there any office called Amotekun office. If you go to Ekiti State, Fayemi is not doing anything about it. Do you get that now? A year after. But Seyi Makinde knew that he started he joined Amotekun issue for him to be able to have chance to create a state police-like unit that will be dedicated to going after these criminals. But only God knows what happened. So January 7th, they moved. And on that January 7th, General Togun, retired General Togun, who happened to be the commander, is the commander, or let me say, is the one in charge of Amotekun for your state. Do you know what he said? He came back and he said, their operation to flush out bandits. Before they moved on the 7th of January 2021, that is before Amotekun left for this operation on the 7th of January 2021, December 2020, Seyi Makinde was somewhere in Oyo or thereabout, and he was talking about insecurity in the Ibarapa, Okeogun, that his government is doing something because they have received intelligence reports that some terrorists, he called them foreign terrorists. They are now moving in from Mali, from Niger, from Chad, from all these places into Oyo State. Then he didn't say they are moving to Yoruba land. He said they are moving into Oyo State and they are moving into Nigeria. They are using Oyo State as the gateway to Nigeria. Where are they going in Nigeria when they are in Oyo State? Where else? They are finding their land to Kebbi. Do you need any car to take you to Oyo State before you get to Kebbi? When you are coming from Niger, or you are coming from Mali, or you are coming from Gambia, or you are coming from Uganda. All these places that they have been rejected because of their violence. Shaki, it was Shaki. God bless you, Nasir. Olamide. You remember that video where he said, foreign bandits are coming to Oyo State, coming into Nigeria through Oyo State, and that his government is doing a lot. Amotekun will go after them. Amotekun will keep you all safe. What Seyi Makinde was saying then was that they have already perfected plan. After long wait, that we just have to do it, Oga. Oga, we just have to do it. People, we are receiving reports every day of people being kidnapped, people being attacked, robbery, farms being destroyed, and all of that. We just need to do it. So Seyi Makinde used that occasion to say we are receiving. So if you see us chasing after these Fulani bandits, sorry, they are not bandits. We are not chasing after Fulani. We are only chasing after foreign bandits. He wanted to be diplomatic. So on the 7th of January, Amotekun moved to Ibarapa local government areas. And the operation lasted for about 24 hours. And within that period, you know what happened? General Togun, go online now, use your other phone or device and Google this. Retired General Togun, Amotekun commander of your state, and his statement on the 7th of January, on the Amotekun's operations, on the 7th of January. Just put it that way. And then you will read it word for word, what General Togun said about that operation. He said their operation succeeded because they were able to flush out these terrorists from 3 local government areas. It was then that we realized that they have already occupied 4 local government areas in Oyo State. It was General Togun, Amotekun commander, that made that known, that made that disclosure. But they met a problem in one of the local governments. In one of that local government is where you have Igangan. Igangan is where that Seriki Fulani is, because the people of the area, they have come to know the camp of the Fulani. It's like when they kidnap you, when everyone says they kidnap them, they realize that when they release you, they will release you from they call the place Bororo camp, Bororo village. Those are the Fulani villages they have managed to build up in the forest. They have Seriki, their leader. Okay? So people said nobody, no one, not even the police, not Nigerian army, no one dare cross the 3 roadblocks to the man's place before you get to that Bororo's village. They are like authority on their own. They will just go to the motorway, kidnap people, march them down, put them in one of those their hideout in the forest, call their Seriki that they have kidnapped people, then make their kidnapped victims to call their families to go and pay money. So when you want to pay that money, they will bring you close to Igangan. People didn't know that Igangan area, Bororo village, they called it Yoruba Lando. Bororo village. The people didn't know that that is the kidnappers' den. Until they kidnapped the prince of Igangan, somebody whose father is the king. Imagine they kidnap you, your papa has to pay 4 million before they release you. And the people who kidnap you and release you, they just have across the road. But they don't point your papa well to lead anybody to come there. So police don't go there, military don't go there because they are protected. That's the true life story. So the people now called on Sunday Igboho. Did I not just tell you now that Igboho is also part of the Ibarapa local government areas of Okeogun? Ibarapa local government areas, including Okeogun. Igboho is in Okeogun. Sunday Igboho is a town. And for Sunday Igboho, it is an alliance. So his people called on him. We have written to the governor. They can't do anything. Okay, let me finish the story of Amotekun, why Sunday Igboho finally had to go. So Amotekun told us that they arrested 46 people in that operation and they killed 7 bandits. But guess what? Immediately the news broke out. Fulani bandits killed. Fulani bandits killed. The Oyo State government, Seyi Makinde, they changed the story. That was when they now told us that it is wrong, it is fake news to say they killed Fulani bandits. The people they killed are the foreign terrorists, but they have no identity, right? In fact, the people they arrested, because Amotekun commander told us that they arrested 46. So they now changed the story. They said, no, we didn't arrest 46. The people we arrested with guns, they are vigilantes. In fact, they are vigilantes of Miyetti Allah. We have been working with Miyetti Allah. You see the operation where we flushed out foreign bandits from Yoruba land, from 3 local governments of Oyo State. We actually did it with Miyetti Allah. That was how the story started changing. And the people in Okeogun, Ibarapa, they know that all these things are lies. They're not going to happen. They called their son. Sunday. Are you just going to be looking at us? Are you just going to be ignoring all of this? Are you just going to pretend that you don't know that all of these killings and kidnappings have been going on in the Okeogun, Ibarapa area? Are you just going to pretend? Then Sunday Igboho said, well, if that is the case, I will come down and see things for myself. That was when Sunday Igboho, the video you saw, where they went there to go and see things. Is it true that people are being kidnapped around this area? Is it true that they killed Dr. Aborode? Is it true that they killed Madam Sulia? Like, people did nothing. Government did nothing. Okay, so when they got to Igogon, the people of Igogon traumatized, completely traumatized. They told him everything. That was when they told him that, you see, we have always suspecting the people there. The last time we paid the 4 million ransom for the release of the prince, the king's son here, we took the money to that camp before they released the son to us. And we have seen so many people who have told us when they run around and escape into this place, they told us that they are released from that forest, but we dare not go there because they have 3 roadblocks. Dr. Aborode, a very well-known man who returned from Germany, who started a 300 acres of farm, planted maize, planted all manners of agro products. Yeah, they destroyed his farm, grazed on his farm, and he decided to go and see the Aseriki and report to him. He didn't make it to the 3rd roadblock before they captured him. They tied him down. They butchered him. His driver escaped to go and tell the villagers that the Bororos have taken him. He didn't make it to the 3rd roadblock. He made it through the 1st, 2nd, the 3rd one. They killed him. And they told them that you can come and fight us. So the people told Sunday Igboho, don't go there. If you want to go there, you have to be ready to fight. It was like, yeah, is it really that bad? That even if I want to go there just now, they will fight me. I was like, they will shoot you. I was like, okay. Boys, let us go and see the Aseriki. We did not come here to fight. We just want to know what is going on. Why is it so bad that they cannot settle any misunderstanding and live together? Let's go there. So when they move, when the Fulani in their 1st roadblock, when you're going there, when they saw the soldiers behind Sunday Igboho coming, they ran away. You saw that video. So it wasn't about fight. It wasn't about hating Fulani. It wasn't about being enemies of Fulani. It was a matter of necessity when everybody decided to play politics with it. When everybody decided to try to underplay the problem, Sunday Igboho showed up, gave the people hope, gave them the completely lost hope. Then he met the Aseriki and his son You know the story. They shot at him. They took away Sunday Igboho and his team. They took away 2 guns. 2 guns from those people for just going there to ask, what is the problem? What is going on? Seriki, your boys, what is it? You see, this one just shot at us now. You are just standing there. You don't even know what to say. It's like you are shocked that we made it to this place. It's like you are surprised that we made it to your house because of the army of Fulani that you put on the way, that when people are coming to your camp, they have to pass through 3 roadblocks. Police can't come here. Soldiers can't come here. You are like your own country here. What is going on? See, listen, we don't know any deal you make with anybody. We don't know who is giving you this confidence. We don't know who gave you this power. But let me tell you this, this is our father's land. And I don't care who are those behind you. We are going to come back here in 7 days. You have shown me that everything people were telling me, they were true. That indeed, this is a terror camp. That anybody who comes here and live alive should go and do Thanksgiving. In Yoruba land, I'm going to come back here in 7 days. I will come back in 7 days, and I'm going to give you 2 options. 1, those who are committing this crime of kidnapping, killing our people, I want you, Seriki, to fish them out in 7 days. So that when I come here, I want to see them. Or, if you are not going to produce them, you have to leave this place in 7 days before we come back. That was the genesis of Fulani should leave Igongon. Fulani should leave Ibarapa land. Then the rest of us Yorubas are like, it is not just Ibarapa. It is not just Igongon. Not just Oyo State. Go to Ondo State. Go to Ekiti State. Go to Osun State. Now, we have actually found out that it's not even just about kidnapping and all of these things that are going on in Yoruba land, ladies and gentlemen. It is not just because they want to take your land for whatever you think they want to use the land for. Fulanis, they are not productive. They are peripherals. They are like scroungers. They don't. Look at their political class. What are they doing? Stealing from the poor. The same poor that they claim to represent. Even though they claim to be saints and they're better, yeah. Then look at those who are in their pastoral whatever business, moving cows and all of that. Look at them destroying livelihood of those who are into agriculture. So they are not really in any way productive. But it's more than that. In Yoruba land right now, there is a gold rush. So many of us Yorubas, we don't know. There is a gold rush in Yoruba land right now, as you are watching me. Gold rush. And they believe that, you see all this Okeogun, Ibarapa, Ayete, Igongon, going forward to Osun, Ijesa, all these areas in Osun State, all those places they are going to become Zamfara. They are going to be naturally Zamfara in this 2021, 2022. You will think they are just there to kidnap people for money. Okay, kidnapping people for money right now is just kidnapping people to buy for money to buy guns. For those of them who are using the money for guns to protect themselves against and fight you. Now, let me take it again, because sometimes, when all these things comes, when they come to my mind, I should share them as they come on. Yeah, sometimes I just, jump from one story to another, one instance to another, and all of that, just to link and dot the lines all here and there for it to make sense to you, the real danger here. Let me give you a bit of a rephrase. I've told you that the change of a guard in Abuja is not going to change our situation anywhere in Yoruba land. The advancement of the Fulani terrorists in Yoruba land is going to continue. Okay, the coverage they are getting is going to continue. But I want to tell you that is what it is for now. But it's more than that. It is more than the fact that they are kidnapping people for money or destroying people's farms. There is gold rush in Yoruba land. That all the elite in Yoruba land who are currently keeping their lips, their lips sealed, they're trying to, to shy away from the reality of today. They are thinking it's just about being kidnapped and the Fulani this, Fulani that. There is more. There are foreigners from God knows where, right? That are not even from Nigeria at all, hunting for gold. And to hunt for gold, they need to take over either your village or take over your land and tell you to do your worst. Because as we speak, there are so many, the numbers of illegal gold mining across Yoruba land right now is staggering, is scary. And for them to keep all those land, they need to kill all the owners of the land. So if you found them at the back of your village and you begin to ask yourself, but we don't even have anything here for them to take. It may be the fact that they have found their gold trace to your area and they will kill you, even if they haven't found any gold. That is happening in Nigeria right now. And those who are perpetuating that, they are not just Fulanis. There are more. And that is an insecurity problem for Yoruba land that is going to be overshadowed by the Fulani that we are talking about. There is more. But the Fulani of this, and the approach that the Yoruba governors are taking right now, trying to be politically correct, against this insecurity problem in Yoruba land will soon become Zamfara, become Borno. So we'll be dealing with all these never seen before crimes and insecurity problems in Yoruba land, simply because our Yoruba governors wants to be politically correct at the expense of the lives of their people, right? So Sunday Igboho showed up, said, I'm going to go. Then from nowhere, Seyi Makinde started giving a warning. Seyi Makinde started, everybody started talking about tribal war. Everybody started talking about, you cannot be blaming Fulani, you cannot be blaming Fulani. Like, yeah, Sunday Igboho is being used. Blah, 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 blah. And every other scandal they were going to probably still pop up. I have advised him to some of my friends who are close to him. I spoke to a very, very good one of mine today. And I told him, tell him to stop giving all those useless interviews. If he's not going to be speaking to those who believe in Oduduwa Republic, right? Those who believe and who actually understand how he got involved in this whole thing, how his people called him to save them, how he got involved. And now that they are going to gaslight him or to scapegoat him, where all Yorubas should be rallying around him, he should rather just go to platforms that genuinely believe in what he is doing, not those who want to catch in on that. On him, and then set him up on all those stupid questions in a way to get many of you to begin to say, I don't even know why I'm actually listening to him. He did something that nobody did for the people of Ibarapa, Okeogun, for 5 years. He did it in a day, and he paid the price. They burned down his house. That was how Sunday Igboho got involved. And when Sunday Igboho got to Ibarapa, when he got to Igongon, there were policemen waiting for him, sent the operation boss waiting for him, sent by Seyi Makinde. They don't want to start a tribal war. What is tribal war? People are being killed. If Sunday Igboho was just like any other lousy politician, somebody who just want to make a mouth or anything, and he decided to go and see Seriki, we'll be writing rest in peace for him right now. So they actually tried to kill him that day. And then, what do you expect? For every action, you will expect opposite or counter reaction, won't you? Thank you so much, John Abiola, for your super sticker there. Well appreciated. Okay, thank you. So you can use the super chat or super sticker under the comments. It's not available everywhere. For those who are asking, how can I use the super chat? It's so easy. If it is available in your own present location, you will see the $sign beside your comment, right? If you tap it, you also see where it says join my Eagles Diary membership platform. You can use that, or you can just use the super sticker or the super chat. It's right there on that. So if you are interested, you can always use that. So thank you, Baba. So Seyi Makinde is playing balls with them. Afterward, they burned down Sunday Igboho's house. They have been threatening to get him arrested, that they will have him arrested because the Fulanis are actually baying for blood. Do you get that now? They are paying for blood. Nobody should be able to stop them. The Yoruba governors have compromised. They have decided to let them have the leeway, the freeway. You get what I mean? They have set up everybody that's going to probably stand up and say no in our own community, no in your own community, and all of that, by trying to politicize it. So I picked something up online, and I'm going to share that with you. Where Sunday Igboho, who knows that politicians will always be politicians, and they are trying to turn this into politics, try to make it look like he was just looking for trouble. He was just looking for attention that his own people are asking you to give them, to save them from bandits, save them from killers, save them from all these people. And you didn't. Now he did, and they want to, because of their 2023 nonsense, they have been saying a lot.